I started at HOK in '98 in Los Angeles. I was lucky enough to be in an economy and a region that was really exciting and just really fun and educational as well. Clients were amazing, space was amazing, and really learned a lot about the strategy of space and the business of space and how those two are intermingled. In 2004, my husband and I had our first child in Los Angeles and decided we didn't want to raise our child in LA, even though the weather's a little bit nicer. We moved back east. We're both from the East Coast. My husband is from Baltimore, and we wanted to raise our child in the city. So we moved back in 2005 and I started at Gensler. And the culture at Gensler was a little bit different than the culture at HOK, the culture of Baltimore, much different than the culture of Los Angeles. And I kind of traveled around a little bit looking for a home that made sense. And it really didn't make sense that I was looking for a home. I just needed to create one based off of the experiences that I created along the way. I left Francis Kaufman in 2009 and started the Verve Partnership based on really understanding the strategic value of where our clients are and where they want to be, and using space as a tool to get them there. And the crux of our organization is really focused around culture and brand, and how culture and brand dictate the built environment, which is space. So our first tagline very early on was space, culture, brand. And it's really worked for us and resonated for us over the last 9 years. Our first milestone was to get out of the basement, which was where we started, and we moved to the dining room table. So the next milestone was to get out of the dining room table, but what afforded us to get out of the dining room was adding employees. So we were able to grow the company from 1 to 6 in 3.5 years, and when we got to our 6th employee, we outgrew my dining room table, and we got space over actually across the street at Meadow Mill. The next milestone was growing into something that was a little bit more conducive to design and architecture. So the milestones for us, oddly enough, actually do align with space, but not simply because of what we do for a living, but the culture that we're trying to build. So landing here in this space in 2014 was a goal and a milestone. People have been a goal, clients and projects have been goals, and of course revenue generation has been a goal as well. To say that we actually have an absolute favorite is doing a disservice to all of our projects and all of our clients. I think each client and each project has been special in its own right, whether it was the first client that actually our flagship client, which was Penn Mutual, that got us started. That was a 7-year relationship over the last 9 years, to really honing in on the culture of Baltimore and really aligning ourselves with clients who had similar goals and objectives that we did. So I highlight Betamore as one of those projects that was a bit of a pivot point for us. We've been lucky enough and versatile enough that we can work with Betamores and startups and be involved in communities that really celebrate the same things we want to celebrate. As well, we've been able to take those experiences and apply them to and with companies like Under Armour, Shapiro Shares, a law firm here in town that was just a fantastic. And we've actually been lucky enough to work with Katz Abosch as well. So we were involved in the very original thought processes of Betamore in 2011. 2011, I would say, is a pivot point for co-working spaces, just nationally speaking. By 2011, your traditional co-working spaces had been around for about 4 or 5 years. And I would also say that Betamore is really one of the only true definition of a co-working space. They really differentiated themselves here locally by throwing in the educational aspect of the services that they provide to their members. That was a big differentiator for them. But the intentional community building that came around, a lot of the first conversations we had with the founders of Betamore were critically important to not only the culture and the ecosystem that they were developing, but it really informed how the space was planned and designed at 1111 Light Street. And that was in 2012. They've been ragingly successful. They had a great mission, they had a great marketing and brand campaign, and they had the space, which was the tool to back all of that up. They've been able to host amazing events, amazing educational programs, and it was a good diving board for the expansion into City Garage, where they're able to expand their services, they're able to expand their space, and they're able to provide their members the opportunity to create relationships with other entrepreneurs.